Welcome to the Celebration of You. I'm your host, Holly Dowling. I'm thrilled to share with you incredible people from all over the world who are living and leading extraordinary lives. From overcoming immense adversity to discovering the secret sauce to leading with courage and grace. Their stories are going to bring you hope and inspiration. Now, let the stories begin. Oh boy, is today exciting for me. I just have to welcome everyone and the amazing listeners. You know, I just want to thank everybody that's out there that continually gravitates and can't wait to hear who's the next guest on the Celebration of You. And I know that we have people that listen to this from all over the world. So get ready, sit back, because as always, I always end up dangling the carrot to say you're in for a huge treat. So this amazing, beautiful spirit that I have had the gift of getting to know just recently is with us today. May I introduce you to the gorgeous Sonia? And Sonia, will you give us your full name, please?
Absolutely. My name is Sonia Bueno de la Torre.
Oh, and you say it so beautifully. We did not want me to ruin that. Oh, Sonia, thank you for being here and so excited to share. There's so many good things that I have discovered in this recent journey. So just to give everybody a little background, so I can brag on you, I have been incredibly blessed and fortunate to have connected with Sonia and am going to be a guest on You're Soon to Find Out about her annual huge global revolution, and was honored to be a guest on that. But that is really what spurred our new friendship and the excitement of getting to know who you are, what you've done. So Sonia, I kind of want people to know all about you and your passion right now. And then at the end, I really want to dive in to what they're about to experience coming in April. But tell us a little bit about you. Oh, first of all, will you tell us where you live? Because it's quite exciting.
Yes. And just, the funny thing is, like, my name is so Spanish and I pronounce it so beautifully. And at the same time, then I have a German accent. So people get sometimes a little bit confused. So I'm originally Spanish. I grew up in Germany. And now I live in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And just for those people who don't know where that is, because a lot of people don't know, it's a very small island group in the Caribbean near the Bahamas. So I've been living here for 7 years and I'm loving it.
Oh yeah, you're living the life, girl. And when I found that out, and wait till everybody hears the journey of where your life began and where you've been. But again, another thing, because I was like, I used to live on St. John, and you live in an island that I used to dream to live on. So I'm just feeling even more love.
Yeah, I love it.
So take us to, so you're going to hear shortly all about the amazing self-love revolution that Sonia is leading globally. But tell us about what you currently do, your passions, and then we'll go from the beginning.
Yes, absolutely. My pleasure. So I live here on the island and I work as a coach. I'm a self-love coach. I'm an energy healer. I do help mainly women. I also help men, but I really help them to connect to who they really are, to connect to their essence, to fully love and accept themselves, and to create a life that they love and where they can safely be who they are in a very authentic way. So I'm very passionate about bringing more self-love, more awareness into this world. And the reason why, and that goes to the question that you asked me, my journey a little bit, because my life is amazing right now. Like I live the dream, so to say. A lot of people would say that when they look from outside. I'm beautiful, I'm confident, I live on an island, I do what I love for a living, I inspire people, I touch people's lives. And it's easy to look from outside and think, oh man, she has everything. It looks so easy and natural to her. What's her problem? Like she doesn't know the struggle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. However, like looking back, that's not where I'm coming from. Why I'm so passionate about what I do is because, and I even get chills when I think the pain. I used to hate myself. I used to suffer from severe depression. I was totally ashamed of myself. I had no self-esteem. I had this feeling constantly that I'm not good enough, that I don't deserve happiness. I was so severely depressed so many times in my life that in the darkest moments, there were really days that I thought about taking my life away. Like, that's where I come from. And it started very young in age. Like, just for you to have an idea, when I was 14, I already went on my first diet because all I was seeing in the mirror is that I was fat and ugly.
Oh. Oh.
So, yeah, and you know me now, like,
Yeah.
but that's really where I'm coming from.
Oh, so, at 14, and I mean, I'm sitting here with the chills too, as I'm listening to you. At 14, such a beautiful, but such an important part of our life. And as a young girl looking in a mirror, and at this time, where were you living, Sonia? Take us back to your childhood.
Yeah, I was in Germany. Like,
Okay.
I actually was born and grew up in Germany. And interestingly enough, even though, my parents are Spanish, and for anyone who knows me now and knows my nature, I'm a very open person, very heartful, I love the sun. So somehow I had the Spanish in me, and Germany felt very restricted to me, like didn't really fit in. So I grew up always feeling like I don't fit in. I didn't fit in my family. I was the black sheep. That's how I felt. I'm not saying that's the truth, but that's how I felt. And so... yeah, I had huge eating disorders, binging, overeating, you name it.
Oh, and dealing with such a bad self-image at such a young age, which, let's face it, how many young girls today, no matter where they're living, right? It's even worse because we have so many things making it worse, right? Like just everything. We could spend a whole day on that.
Yeah.
So tell me, so go from 14 and what you saw in the mirror. What was the surrounding? So what were the people like in your life? Were they helping you or were they making it worse? I'm just wanting people that might be going through something similar or have a child going through this.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to share that. First off, most people weren't aware like that I was feeling that way. So it was not that I was sharing. I felt very alone with it. So it's not that I reached out and shared. I did not feel that people would really understand or help me or understand me. So I felt very alone with it. So I wouldn't say that they didn't support me, but I also didn't ask them, especially not at 14. Like, you're a teenager. It's really challenging enough to be a teenager without feeling fat and ugly. Right. Like, and I was a little bit overweight, but no, looking back, like, it was not proportional to how I felt. So to be honest, for the longest time, I don't think that most people even knew I was feeling that way.
You do? Do you think there were signs? Like, if there was a parent right now listening to this and they are maybe clueless that their own child is there any signs? Is there anything that maybe that got missed? Like, how would you know your child is feeling this?
So this is a great question, and there's not like a quick answer or quick fix to this. Here's where it comes, my experience or looking back. The biggest contribution you can make for your child or look or whatever is to look inside yourself first. Because only when you are aware of what's going on inside of you, you can be aware of what's going on inside of someone else. And even though my parents love me and I have a great relationship with them now, and at the same time, and it's not about blaming them, and at the same time, because my mother didn't love herself. She wasn't in touch with her body. She felt a lot of shame and she had a lot of resentment from, towards my father. They had their own issues, generational. There's so much stuff going on so deep inside that if you are not aware yourself, it's difficult to see it in another person. However, like, what you can always do is to really slow down and look beyond the facade. To tune into something deeper, like, if that person might say, hey, I'm fine, everything is great, to just trust your intuition and really feel into. And the most important thing is for anybody, that it doesn't matter if it's a child, a teenager, an adult, is to feel safe to share. And the way we do feel safe to share is when we don't feel judged and when people just listen without trying to fix us. Does that make sense?
If that is not the best wisdom and lesson we could take away right now. Oh, wow. Sonia, I don't want anybody to miss what you just said. to truly listen without trying to fix someone. And don't you totally know that when you've been truly listened to, like to me, there's an art of listening. And when you have truly been listened to, it feels as close to being loved. And
yes.
Right? And you know when you've been listened to. And to think of a sacred young person who's not going to voice this, right? But again, are we really listening? Are we asking and then sitting back and listening? I love that. I love that you just shared that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Holly. And thank you for doing, I feel this is such a beautiful privilege to even talk about this with you and you giving me the opportunity, because the most, healing or feeling love is one of, love is a healing tool, love is healing. And of course, we need to love ourselves. However, to receive love from someone else, and you can only give love when you love. I mean, I know some people still think that's not, but to truly love someone, you do need to experience love towards yourself. And to be present with someone and to listen is, I think, the highest act of love.
You couldn't have just said it more beautiful. And you just said something too that I think I see people all over the world struggle with this. Sometimes it seems like an oxymoron when you tell people to truly be able to love someone, you have to love yourself. And people look at you like, really? Right? Mm-hmm. I don't get that. But I loved a metaphor once that I heard that helped me take a visual of what that meant. If I can't give you money, if I'm an overdrawn bank account, right? There's nothing for me to give you if my bank account is overdrawn and empty. And that to me helped me really understand the power of that. And this is your mission and your purpose in life. And I love that what you've done is embraced a time of your life that really was, strong adversity of, for a woman to overcome that. So tell us the pivotal point. When did that, because I love when I learned what you then opened and did in Germany, I'm like, who does that? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's a great question. And I will never forget the day, actually. I mean, it was, of course, gradually, and I suffered from a long time. I was in misery deep inside. I didn't show it outside necessarily, but deep inside, I was lonely, depressed, and very unhappy. And I remember when it's about 20 years ago, nearly. I was 26. I was in Thailand with my boyfriend at the time. And on vacation. It was a beautiful beach, there was palm trees on this little island that we were. It was such a small island, I don't even remember the name, and it's because it's 20 years ago, there was still existing, there was no one. And I was sitting there, my boyfriend was walking a little bit further down, and I was sitting there all by myself. And the sun, the ocean, the palm trees, the sand, my partner. And I thought this should be the most romantic and beautiful day of my life. And the only thing, I could even cry for that person back then, the only thing I was thinking in that moment, Holly, is how bad I was feeling about myself.
Really?
How much I was hating myself, how unhappy I was. And in that moment, Holly, I made a decision. And I made a decision to do whatever it takes to love myself. And I decided to not go on vacation again until I feel better about myself.
Wow.
And that led me to not go on vacation for a while. But that's okay, because it was part of the journey. But that really brought me to a commitment towards just myself, because I want to be really clear and honest and transparent out there. I made that decision and that commitment, and I still didn't believe it's possible for me. I didn't have a concept of it being possible to love myself. I didn't know how, and I didn't know what to do. But to make a decision and a commitment, that's the most important step, I believe, in order to make a change. And then I went on a journey. I went to my first, it was called self-love weekend. I started therapy with an amazing shiatsu person in Germany. And for a while, I still was really struggling, and I didn't believe that I would ever be able to do it. But here's the thing. For me, there was no turning back for me. Either I go and find a way to love myself, and that sounds really, dramatic, but either I go and love myself or I kill myself.
It was that extreme for you.
That was that extreme for me. So it doesn't mean that for everyone it has to be so extreme, but that's the reason also why I'm so passionate and also so good at what I'm doing, because I know it all.
Yes.
There's not really anything. And the biggest change, it was a gradual change, I discovered that, I didn't know anything at that time. I didn't know anything about energy, about subconsciousness, about that my childhood might have to do anything with it, that I have beliefs that are running my life. I didn't know any of this. And the biggest change for me was when I discovered the type of energy work that I've been doing now for over 16 years that really opened my eyes and made the biggest change. It was deep transformational work, very challenging, was opening up the box of Pandora and,
really letting all the worms in the can come out and the skeletons, right?
Yeah. And now, go ahead, Holly.
I was just going to say, and so that specific journey that you embraced and you did it, like when you look back, could you have come where you are today if you hadn't have done the Pandora box?
Not at all. No, there's no way to detour that. Yeah. And I even believe, and we spoke about that before, is if we use the pain and the struggle, that's the doorway to really freedom, love, and empowerment, because underneath is the essence of who we are, the treasure, the beauty. We are all so beautiful by nature, like the essence of who we are, the beauty of this being that goes beyond our physical body is beautiful beyond measure. And it's in all of us. It's just hidden and covered with stuff. I call it stuff, right?
Yes,
like
the stuff.
Belief. It's like stuff. It's like, and it's substance. Energy is substance. So it's not that we have to get something from outside, is we just need to uncover that stuff to connect to the beautiful essence. And when you do that, when you get in touch with that, you cannot not love yourself, because you are so beautiful. And it is challenging to face the stuff. However, it's the most rewarding thing you can do. Like I don't even have words to describe the difference between that darkness and that beautiful life that I live. And it's not perfect. I struggle, I have pain, I have to deal with stuff like everyone else. But the inside, I know who I am.
You can hear it coming through the phone, Sonia. You can just, if anybody that's listening to this, I want to like throw myself through the phone line and grab you and hug you, because there is this, that you just ooze with passion, with joy. And you know what I love is that, and that's probably why we've been connected at the soul. And I mean that we're like soul sisters from afar, but it's embracing, to me, all of those dark times have really been rich times. Those breakdowns have been breakthroughs. They've been the time that has made us these incredible, rich, beautiful human beings we are. And that's why I, like you, I don't sit around and blame all that stuff in my life, because I feel like I couldn't be this person I am today if I hadn't been given the gift of the opportunity to go through some deep, dark struggles. And when we are willing to share, like you're sharing, I just wonder how many women and men, and this is always the hope and the mission behind this show, and why I do this, is there's always somebody out there, Sonia, who living behind closed doors is battling a severe depression and afraid to tell a soul, because they look in the mirror and no matter how old you are, they're still struggling with not loving who they are. And they need hope, and you're giving hope. So like for that one person right now, maybe they're not sitting on a beach in Thailand, right? Having an extraordinary vacation, which I love that you were so authentic and said, here I'm living the most perfect moment going, I'm miserable. What's wrong with me? What would be the first step if somebody listening to this is saying, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm listening to myself right now? Because, it could be a journey, but what's the first thing you would tell them to go seek out or do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first thing, of course, there's, there are many different things and everybody's different, but one of the most important pieces that I keep seeing in my journey and also with my clients or people that, in general that I talk to, there needs to be a decision. Like there's something, even though it doesn't matter if you believe it or if you're in misery, but there's something deep inside of you that says there's more and I want to do something about it, even though I don't know. So the first thing is to make a decision to do something about it. That's the first thing. You don't need to know how. You don't need to know how yet. That's the next step. But to really tune inside and to make a decision that you want to do something about it. That's the first thing. Because once you have that, every energy follows attention. Everything is energy. Like if commitment, and it's really a commitment to your own well-being, to your own life, to yourself, a commitment that, you do something about it. Because let's face it, if I can do it, everyone can do it.
I love it.
Yeah, and seriously, now it's when you hear me here now, it's easy to say. However, I was on the verge of wanting to kill myself, and if I would not have had the people in my life that I found, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute because that's really another step, very important step, I most likely wouldn't be here. But my journey was to do and go through that, all of that, to become the person that I am today. And not everybody has to go through that much of pain and struggle, because not everybody has that journey that was meant for me. And my mission to help other people. So for me, in order to help on a high level means for me to dig deep on a high level. So even if somebody's afraid to say, oh, I'm afraid to dig deep. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm afraid every day, to be honest. Right? But
yeah, I love that.
And the second, I think one of the things that are super important as well is to ask for help. And to reach out and find someone or a group or it could be, if I wouldn't have done that with my teachers, my coaches, and the intense inner work that I did for a lot of years in groups, that I felt like I found something that worked for me, I would not be where I am, because we cannot really face it and transform it on a deep level ourselves, because otherwise we would have done it already.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Oh, yes, Sonia.
Yeah.
And there are so many people out there that are equipped and ready to want to help. It's what their passion is, right? It's like our world is made up of a beautiful, to me, it's tapestry. Everybody's been given gifts to serve the world. So why not help someone that's their passion, and to allow them the gift of helping you?
Yes, absolutely. And, just talking, and I know we're going to talk about the self-love revolution, because that just fits in so perfectly.
Yes.
But, if it's also, and I'm not talking only about money, but you need to choose to invest in yourself. That means time, energy, whatever it takes to to create a support system around you that will support you, because it is challenging in the beginning by yourself. You need a construct that holds the light for you until you see your own light.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's like, somebody, someone that holds your hand, walks the path with you. And you could even, if you say, I'm so alone, I don't have any friends, I don't know anyone, go online and check, self-help groups around in your area or virtual. You would be surprised. You are not alone. I tell you, you are not alone, and there's so much support out there, and there's a lot of support also for free. So if your mind tells you, well, I can't do anything, yes, there is really help. So take that step to reach out for support, and best to get support from people who are where you want to go.
And you know what I have to add to that is I firmly believe, and a lot of the listeners hear me bring this up on many occasions, but I'm a walking testimony to this. So there's nothing I'm going to share that isn't what I'm willing to do and have done. But what Sonia's really sharing with you is, when you're ready to make a decision, it first starts with a decision. Totally 100% has to start with a self-decision. When you make a commitment, you begin to open up the universe just to begin to provide all that you need. But you have to be willing to start with self, saying, I'm ready, I'm making this commitment, this decision. And if you need, I'm always a big believer, Sonia, that write it down, put it somewhere so that you've made yourself almost more psychologically committed to it. And you will begin to see the serendipitous moments open up in front of you. And you have to be willing to look and watch for those miracles in those moments, because it's amazing what will happen, right? Doors will begin to open. People will come into your path that you might have missed a month before. Right?
Totally. Yeah, no, totally. You're so right. Once you make a decision, life, here's what I often say. Life takes care of you if you let it.
Oh, so true. So true.
Yeah, like make a decision, commit to it, and trust. I know that's not easy in the very beginning, but just do it step by step, one mini step by step. And because and I'm you're so passionate about this too. And we're talking about the self-love revolution and talking about resources that are out there, right? That people can even tap into. May I say something about that?
Oh, I want to go there right now. I was just getting ready to say, can you take us to now the monumental moment of now every resource you could possibly imagine might be available to you in front of your own eyes and hands here shortly.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's a great resource, and it's called the Self-Love Revolution. That's an annual online event that you can participate for free from all over the world. And what it is that I look for experts and speakers that are as passionate as I am to create a change in people's life, to bring more self-love, to help. It's mainly addressed to women, but men are very welcomed as well, because let's be real, men need more self-love too. However, it's very much addressed to women. And I interview them, and we share 30 minutes of our time in an interview and give you or the audience like tips and resources. We share our own stories. And the purpose is really to get a resource where you can tap into the knowledge and the transformation and the story of people who have been there and can help you go to the other side. And on a very practical level, the beauty of it, it's online. You can do it from the comfort of your home. You sign up for it for free. And for a period of time, you get one interview sent into your inbox every day. And it's available for 48 hours. You can watch it. You can rewatch it. And every expert also shares a free gift. So an additional resource. Like this alone can make all the change in your life.
Absolutely. Yes.
And Holly is one of these amazing experts that I interviewed. And what she had to share was incredible. So you want to make sure to join us on the Self-Love Revolution, because this is really done for you if you have the desire to experience more love and joy in your life.
And Sonia, this is exactly why I am so passionate about aligning, partnering, and joining and collaborating with people like you, that we have a similar mission, that our point and our purpose of being here on this earth is to make a difference and serve our world for the better. And I love your mission behind this. And the people that know me know I'm very picky about where I will, because you have to be. I'm also...
Yes, I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you.
You have to be. And I just love... So give us an idea. So when... For those that are going to be listening to this, what website will they go to? Tell them how they can learn more about you and learn more about the self-revolution, like immediately once they listen to this.
Yes. So you can go online to theselfloverevolution.com. All written in, no space, theselfloverevolution.com. Oh, no, sorry. That was my mistake. There's one word missing. It's no, don't go there.
Ooh, we'll wake people up now. Let's see who's listening.
Exactly. So it was just a test. No, just kidding. It's the selfloverevolutionlife.com, Live, like the selfloverevolutionlife.com. If you go to that page, you'll see a little video of me. You will see an opt-in page. You can sign up for free. And then you get a welcome email. And then you are basically already in part of this self-love revolution. And you are going to get all the interviews once we're starting in April. And you're not going to miss anything. Just make sure that it doesn't land in your, junk, spam, promotion, whatever folder. But it's really simple. As you go to the selfloverevolutionlife.com, you sign up, and then you join the movement. And I'm so excited to share that with you. And I would be thrilled if you would join us and participate.
Oh, and I am so excited because we are going to be supporting this and doing tons of buzz around it as well. Not just when my interview goes, but all of the amazing people that you've had. And remember when we first talked, Sonia, I said to you, not only am I honored and excited and thrilled to do this for you, but it's also in the same month that every year I do an April Appreciation Challenge. And it's all about, it's all about us showing appreciation and letting people know maybe you haven't talked to in years. So I love that this is all at the same time. And I know we're going to wrap this up, but one of the things I love to ask my guests that you have no idea I'm going to ask you this, and you've already shared so much wisdom and courage and grace and all those beautiful things that I love. But I would love to know, as we end this, if you were to go back to your 25-year-old self, and maybe you go back to your 26-year-old self because that was the moment on the island, but what advice would you give yourself if what you know now in life, you could go back and give that person advice?
That's a beautiful question. And I need to tune in for a moment because the first thing that comes up for me, the first thing that I would do is to just sit next to her and just letting her know that I do understand and that I see her, and just to be present with her. And just to let her know that she's not alone. And that she's beautiful, and that everything is going to be okay. Because I'm there now.
I got a little emotional. Yep. I think we could all use a little angel on our shoulder to remind us of that in this very moment, on this very day when you're listening to this. Pause wherever you are. And just take those words that Sonia just said and tell yourself that. And just for the sake of being a gift to someone else, be the gift giver and let someone or someones know the same thing. Thank you, Sonia. Oh, you are precious. Thank you, my love. Oh, I can't wait for April to come. Here we go.
Me too. Thank you so much, Holly. It was such a pleasure. You are so right. We are really soul sisters on such a level. The depth that, gratitude and love and alignment. It's just, it was a pleasure and honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't wait to connect soon. Enjoy the islands.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining me for another awesome celebration of you. If you were inspired by this story, please share it with your family and friends and hashtag Your Story Matters. I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on iTunes. And absolutely, please come to my website, hollydowling.com. Leave a comment there too, and while you're there, pick up your free gift. Most importantly, though, just remember that your life is a gift from God. What you do with it is your gift back.